and welcome to the show. It's time for another episode of the Video Game Choo podcast. I am your host with the most, John Machonsky, and we have a very, very small podcast this week. Lauren wasn't available for recording today, so she's out. And I was originally going to have Rocky Pajarito on the episode to introduce himself, but he has some pretty egregious, some pretty bad audio problems. So, with me this week, maybe last, maybe not the least, but hopefully he will add to the show, Niall Black.
Hello, how are you doing, John?
I'm doing great, as I said. Niall, I'm happy to have you on, but I'm sorry to kind of shine the spotlight a little too bright on you. I hope the pressure doesn't get you.
I hope so too, but we'll be okay.
No, I'm really glad to have you on. I'm glad to introduce you to everybody. We had you on that big clusterfuck episode that went down the tube.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can introduce you really well to the rest of the fans. How about you give everyone a little taste of yourself? What's up with you? What do you like? What's your interests?
Well, this is my first major role, I suppose, with the gaming side. I play a lot of JRPGs, a lot of dungeon crawlers, a lot of games like that. Big fan of extreme sports games, especially snowboarding games, but I'm really into skate too. Fan of visual novels, like kind of my secret shame, but there you go. Big Danganronpa fan, big Persona fan. Chooch is pretty much the perfect place for me, I think, as far as my taste goes.
Right, of course. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. When we were doing hires, I know a lot of people that listen to Chooch are fans of Giant Bomb. Mm-hmm. So I would say that, like, when I found out that you were really good at video work, I went, I'm glad that I have a legit reason to bring Niall on, because if I still would have wanted to hire you, because you would have been like my Ryckert hire, just as this guy's fun.
Well,
I want to have fun with this guy.
Okay, that's not quite the
Nah. I'm kidding.
I hope I'm
really
not quite a Dan Ryckert. I hope.
No.
You don't get any stories.
It was
cooking.
It was my selfish hire.
Right.
I mean,
I know
what I mean. Like, I was just gonna be like, man, I want to do some fun shit with this dude. But you know what? You shine bright past that initial, just greedy response from me. You've done amazing jobs editing the show. Just incredible. And I loved your writing. I wouldn't have I wouldn't hire someone if I hated their writing. You wrote a really good top 10, or was it a top 10?
It was top 10 list of games I played last year, as well as like stuff on the worst games and things like that, and games that stood out for other reasons to me.
Alright, okay. I really loved reading that, and then I was like, I gotta get this guy on the show. I gotta get this guy on the site. There's no way. I mean, I want this guy to just all around kick ass, and you're doing it already. Boom. You're doing great.
Try.
So I'm glad to have you on. I'm really excited to work with you. Basically,
I'm excited to be part of Chooch.
Yeah. So, what have you been up to lately? What's have you been doing anything particularly interesting lately? Got any stories for us?
Stories? I don't really know how interesting it is, but I've been dealing with a little bit of a weird situation. I got a phone call the other day from.
I heard about this, dude. Are you sure you should be talking about this? Because they might be watching.
Maybe, let's just say I got a phone call that wasn't quite on the level, and some people who maybe thought I was a little stupider than I am, which maybe wanted me to do some things under the false pretenses that it was a job, but I didn't fall for that. I'm not stupid enough to get scammed. Let's just say that much. You know.
Hey, now you're being mean. I got scammed semi recently.
I did not know that, John.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Well,
it's okay. It was me being an idiot. I thought someone was like gonna fucking kill me
right.
and show up at my house, and it was the worst.
Well, like
so,
these people you kind of knew, because once they sent you, after they called me, they sent me an email that was just rife with spelling mistakes and obvious links to phishing sites and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. Like I got caught up in some Craigslist thing where I thought someone was gonna buy a textbook off of me, and then I got sent like a check, and I was like, "Is this for the textbook?" And then it turned out that it was just them trying to like basically just route money through me to them.
I see.
And yeah, I got fucked over through that, and yeah, it was rough, but I got through that. And
they always target good boys like you, John.
Yeah, it was really shitty though, because it happened while I was at E3.
Oh man!
So I was out of money, stranded in Cali.
With my Cosimano.
It was with my Cosimano.
The worst possible situation.
Actually, you would think, but Mike was actually super
Mike
helpful,
seems cool.
So Mike is super cool. He helped me out with that a lot, way more than just anyone could ever imagine. So yeah, that's my little shout out to Mike Cosimano. We were thinking about having him on the show. I was going to try to call him up and force him to be on here, but we decided that would cheapen the pop when he returned. Yeah. I want it to be a big deal. I want Mike to come back for Chooch WrestleMania, not for Chooch Fastlane.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so what's been going on with that? Anything specific?
Not really. I think just ignore it and it goes away. It's I haven't heard back from it since, so fingers crossed. But I mean, there's nothing they can do. I'm not stupid,
they're not gonna bust.
No,
out
they
door,
don't know
probably.
my address. They don't know where I live.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't really been doing too much lately. Just been chilling out, trying to catching some TV shows here and there. Watched the first 2 episodes of Better Call Saul.
How's that been?
Those were on. Oh, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
As expected from Vince Gilligan, obviously. But I was a little worried at first because I like Bob Odenkirk, but I was a little worried that he wouldn't be able to carry a show. Yeah. But my worries are just gone. Just absolutely gone.
It's living up to expectations.
Fantastic. It's living up to expectations. They've kind of done some... They're doing cameos already, like from characters from Breaking Bad. I won't spoil anything in case anyone, because I mean, just came out this week. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I was worried that they were going to be too cheap with that. Just have like Jesse show up in the background of a shot and just be like, "Yo," and then it's like, "All right, thanks," but they're not doing anything like that. They're using the characters that they're making callbacks with really well, and they're setting up how things come to be once Saul gets into the picture of Breaking Bad.
Right. They're not wasting cameos and things like that.
Yeah, like I think Vince Gilligan even said like I'm like he's on record saying Jesse will probably show up, but I'm not 100% sure if Walt will ever even show up in the show. Which is cool. Like I'm glad that even though this is kind of a fan servicey show, at the end of the day, he still wants to tell a legitimately good story, and it's not just
playing the tropes and winking at the camera and things like that. Yeah.
It's also really, really funny, just the way that they handle the different situations. Like, Saul is such a funny character.
Yeah, Bob Odenkirk is really, really good. He's really good in Breaking Bad, and he was really great in Fargo, so...
Yeah. But I also, last night... Because Lauren's not here, so we can talk about wrestling.
Yeah, sure.
No, last night was honestly a pretty boring episode of Raw. I wasn't super enthralled.
Yeah, I'm not super sold on this whole thing going into WrestleMania. I think I think Daniel Bryan is really good, but I think he's lost a step since coming back. He seems a little slower. He seems, just that half second behind. And I think Reigns is going to be really good eventually, but I don't think he's anywhere near ready for the spot that they seem intent on putting him in. He still can't really cut a promo without you kind of glancing sideways like, this is pretty bad.
Because he's still reading McMahon's
writing.
writing.
He's not really letting his own personality shine through just yet. And I think they're kind of in a messy spot now for the next month or two. I think they've written the shows over the past 6 to 9 months in such a way that to have anyone come out of WrestleMania with the title that isn't Seth Rollins is gonna be kind of the wrong move. I think Rollins has really stepped up and he's really come into his role really well. I think he's become a really great heel, but of course, certain things happened in the real world that made derail Rollins. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're treating it like it's not anything major. Like, I think they're kind of honestly, I think WWE is handling that as. I mean, I don't think Seth should have apologized for what happened, but I think WWE is handling it as best as they can in that they just, like, Triple H got asked about it during a conference call today. If, for people who don't know, wrestling, Seth Rollins is one of the top guys in wrestling right now, and on the night of Raw, basically his nudes leaked. It was either someone hacked him.
It was somebody hacked his account and posted nudes of one of the girls down in NXT, and then his fiance or ex-fiance in retaliation for that posted nudes of him on Twitter.
All right, yeah.
Shit hit the fan, basically.
Yes, and. Honestly, though, Triple H got asked about this during a conference call, and all he said was, it's a personal matter that we don't want to speak on. So, honestly, I think that's the most professional thing that they could just do. If they're going to do something, they'll take care of it, and it's not something that it's a personal matter between Seth Rollins and his fiance, and, I mean, if he did do something, like, if he wasn't faithful to his fiance, that's shitty, but that's... he's still got to play a character on the show. They have to handle it how they handle it.
Well,
and I think them just immediately coming out of there and just being like, well, he's kicked out of the championship because of this thing that's happening.
Yeah. And I mean, that was all going on while he was on TV, so there is a reasonable doubt as to whether he ever did anything, but again, it could be a hack, it could be just a really bad mistake on his part, who knows, but, either way... Mm-hmm. It's something best left for them to deal with internally, I think.
Absolutely. But no, I don't really know exactly what I want for, I think Seth Rollins would probably be the best choice for just what the company should be going for, because he's a great heel, and having the championship on a really good heel who's actually there would be nice. I think Lesnar... when Lesnar shows up and does a match, it's incredible.
Yeah, Lesnar is probably the most believable bad guy, or believable guy on the roster, that they've had in 10 years. But...
I just really love Brock Lesnar showing up and winning this championship just by beating the holy hell out of John Cena. Making it not look like...
It was just so one-sided. It was 20 minutes of him just killing Cena, and it worked perfectly. And then
I love everything about how Brock Lesnar, holds himself, how he wrestles wearing, MMA gloves. Yeah. He couldn't give less of a shit about wrestling. He just wants to be paid a lot. And everything about it, it's so good. I just love that. Everyone else at the WWE, in character, they treat wrestling like it's something to be proud of. And Brock Lesnar's just I just want a paycheck. And it matches with how he acts in real life, too.
I think...
So, it's just...
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just like once a face does take down Brock Lesnar, that face just
Yeah.
they're immediately going to be seen as just amazing because they got rid of this charlatan who's just coming in for money's sake.
Yeah. I think the problem with that, like, I agree that once a face beats him, it should be a big deal, but I think they've kind of backed themselves into a corner now where Reigns can't really be that guy to do that because the fans are going to crap all over it. And I think Bryan might get a little bit more out of it, but at the same time, I don't see a way that they can come out of WrestleMania and not have Rollins cash his shot in and leave with that belt. Even if Reigns wins the actual match at WrestleMania, I think there's no way you can put Reigns out there the next night on Raw with the title the way things have gone for him since he's won the Royal Rumble. You know, I think it's getting to the point now where you gotta pull the trigger on Rollins because he's the only logical person to walk out with the belt because Lesnar is apparently leaving at the end of Mania. So,
yeah.
Otherwise, I would say keep it on Lesnar and just have him hold it for another year.
Yeah, just because they could figure out something new for a little bit. Like, I don't know, like, I could see them having Dean win the Intercontinental Championship. Like, I could see Dean Ambrose rising up to that.
Yeah, I think Ambrose is a better overall package than Reigns is, but they don't seem to have quite the faith in him that they have in Reigns for some reason, which I think is strange because I think coming out like when they broke up the Shield, he seemed to be the guy that was primed to go on the biggest run, and he's sort of kind of floundering now at the moment, not really doing anything. He's got the thing with Barrett, but they gave that 2-3 minutes of TV time.
And they keep having Dean Ambrose fight against fucking Curtis Axel of all people. Like, who gives a shit?
And it doesn't help when you're just being put against Axel every week because nobody cares about Curtis Axel.
Exactly.
Most people forgot he was even there before the Rumble.
Yeah, people going, he didn't get eliminated in the Royal Rumble. Oh, he's still got a championship shot. Like, they're joking, and I don't think the WWE notices that people are kidding about that.
Yeah, I think they've shown in the past, 2 or 3 years that they're remarkably bad at parsing what is genuine fan interest and what is fans kind of laughing at the product. Like, it was the same thing with Fandango when everyone was singing the song and doing the dance in the stands, and they kind of took that to mean that he was going to be the next big thing, and then everyone was like, no, we were actually laughing at him, and then Fandango just sort of fell apart.
Yeah, they made a huge wireframe thing of Fandango, and they're just like, yes, he is risen, and it's like, nah, dude, we don't give enough of a shit about this guy.
He's a guy with a catchy theme song. That's it.
Alright, so I think that's enough wrestle talk.
Sorry,
I hope.
Everyone. For 20 minutes of wrestling talk or whatever this has been.
The people that enjoy the wrestle talk will enjoy it. But now, how about Niall? How about this? Just put the sad horn right when the wrestle talk begins, and then when it ends, just have a triumphant dun 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 dun. So everyone knows when to come back. Alright, so let's actually talk about video games on the Video Game Podcast. That sounds like a plan. Now, what have you been playing recently? Before we started recording, you made reference to this being in the Shin Megami Tensei podcast.
But before I get into that, I have been putting some time into Grim Fandango as well. After reading the review, which you can read on videogamechoochoo.com, I went out and I picked it up for the Vita, and I really like that game, but the Vita port has some issues, and I think that game is extremely obtuse, annoyingly obtuse at times as well. It's definitely a game you need to have your walkthrough and your fact for, because God, that GLaDOS tree puzzle drove me insane. Even the fact I was reading along with it wasn't clear that you're supposed to do this thing once GLaDOS goes up here, and I was ready to throw my controller, because I've been playing it on the PS TV across the room until I found that. It's probably the most frustrated I've been over something so small since the gravel in the swimsuit thing in Danganronpa.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that when, like, after I played through Danganronpa 2, and oh my god, you are 100% right. The gravel in the swimsuit. Oh, no.
It just drove me insane, and that was what that tree puzzle was a bit like for me playing Grim Fandango.
I think the tree puzzle was a little worse,
Yeah.
but still.
But other than that, I love the way it looks. I think the voice acting and the writing is still better than most games that are coming out today. It's bursting with character and with personality, and I wish more games had that level of writing and that level of performance from voice actors in them. But I think it's great despite how obtuse it is, and despite some of the issues the Vita version seems to have as compared to the PC version.
Mm-hmm.
Like the load times are really really bad on the Vita. Like there's been times where going from one screen to another it can take up to 30 seconds, and that's like
sucks.
Saving can take a minute more. It's a really small thing, but it disrupts the flow of the game. I think that's kind of the biggest issue I have with it.
Mm-hmm. Alright. So what else did you play? Getting in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah.
Shin Megami Tensei Land.
Yeah, there's a sale on the eShop at the moment. Various Shin Megami Tensei games, and I've been playing Devil Survivor Overclocked, the enhanced remake of Devil Survivor. Which, because the second Devil Survivor 2's enhanced port is coming out in the next month or two, and I figured, I haven't played Devil Survivor before, so let's see what it's all about before that comes out, and I really like it so far. I'm not that far into it, but it's more of a strategy RPG than something like Persona would be. I think that so far the characterization is pretty good. I like the voice acting; it's fully voice acted. I think one of the characters in particular, Yuzu, who is kind of, I guess, analogous to Chie, I guess. I think she's really well voice acted. She's voice acted by Melissa Fawn, who does some voice acting in the Persona games as well, and I think her performance is really good in that and really gives that character a lot of personality. And yeah, I think it's a really, really good game, and I think it's, from what I've played so far, it seems to be, it's different to Persona, but it's a lot of fun too. Some of the same demons but are in it so far, but it's a new experience because I'm not too familiar with Shin Megami Tensei. I've only really played Persona games, but based off this, I could see myself going through all the various million sub Shin Megami Tensei series.
Yeah, from what I've heard, Devil Survivor is a pretty alright way to get yourself more eased into the rest of the series. The other really good one, from what I've heard, was Shin Megami Tensei 4, which is also on sale. So, yeah, I was thinking about picking that up.
That's supposedly very, very tough to get into, though, so I kind of went with Devil Survivor because, it seems like an easier entry point outside of the Persona games.
Right. But yeah, what else have you been playing, if anything?
I got a PS TV about 10 days ago, and I've been just playing through some stuff on that as well that I haven't had a chance to play on my Vita or whatever. I tried to play Virtue's Last Reward on it, but it doesn't work. It works up until the point where you have to use the touchscreen, and then it stops working. They never patched in anything to compensate for that. And I also played a game called Mine Zero, which is trying really, really hard to be Persona, and it's not particularly good at trying to be Persona. Like the characters are basically Persona characters. You've got a character who is basically Dojima. You've got a character who is basically Yosuke. You've got a character who is basically Nanako. You've got a character who is just Chie. Like in every way she is just Chie. It's even established in like the first hour that she loves eating meat. So and it's just a really dull Persona knockoff. And the graphics are dull and grey, and The writing is
I don't.
relatively okay, but there's no real story. There's nothing interesting about the world it creates. It's just sort of, yeah.
I almost want to play this just to see what like the alternate universe version of Persona that
Yeah, I mean, it even starts.
we could have
It even
gotten.
starts with you being sucked into what is essentially the Velvet Room. Like
Wow.
you go into the Velvet Room and you meet a character called Undertaker, who is basically sort of if Margaret and Igor had a child. Um,
Now that's something I don't want to
yeah,
think
if
about.
they had a
All
child
right.
and she was very well endowed, let's say, and it's
Oh my
basically
god.
just, yeah, pick a weapon. This is your fated weapon, and this is your mind, which is the game's version of a Persona, and it's trying real hard to be Persona, but it just has none of the charm.
Wow. Yeah. I'm thinking we should do a let's play this. That sounds like something we should be humping on. Let's play all the way through this crappy Persona. Well, no, because I mean, if we're gonna do our big let's play, I think it should be something terrible
I
to
think
match with
so.
how terrible our
Yeah.
website is.
Yeah, it would fit, just.
The Chooch
Yeah,
brand.
and I mean, like I said about characters basically being analogous to characters in Persona, like, I think the cop is voiced by the same guy who does Dojima. The guy who's basically Yosuke is voiced by Yuri Lowenthal.
Oh my
The
god.
girl that is just Chie is voiced by the same voice actress that did Chie in Persona 4 Golden. Like, it really, really is trying its best to be Persona.
I wonder how those actors felt doing that.
I'm
just
sure
like,
they didn't care.
I'm Chie again. Sorry, everyone. Like, I don't know. That would feel so
Yeah,
weird.
it sounds like at times they're just sleepwalking through the roles, but then, like, the character that is basically Chie is the only one that has good writing and the only one that has really good voice acting. Like, she seems like she's trying because I guess, she's like, yeah, I get to be Chie again. That's a fun role. But
Erin Fitzgerald,
she's
she's really good at what
a
she
good
does.
voice actress, but Yuri Lowenthal sounds like he just couldn't care less. There's even the cop even has a young partner who is basically a Dachi. Like, if I was to play more of the game, I would absolutely expect that guy to turn out to be the main big bad again. Like,
Yeah, he's side eyeing him the whole time, just like
it's like,
I'm getting ready for you to turn out to be a big piece
yeah,
of
like
shit.
the first scene in which he appears, they're chasing down like a criminal, and he's acting all weird about how he wants to get out of there, and and it's just like, oh, you're going to turn out to be a Dachi, aren't you? And it's just...
What if it just turns out that it actually just is Adachi, and he's just like, I've entered another world?
I could absolutely see it. I mean, if if it ended with Dojima waking up from a bad dream, I would absolutely say, yeah, okay. But and the main character is just sort of really bland too. He doesn't really have a personality. He's voiced by Matt Mercer, who took over Kanji in the later Persona 4 stuff, and he's pretty good, but his character basically doesn't allow him to really express much emotion. He's just your standard sort of cool guy JRPG protagonist,
How boring.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, I kind of want to look into this game now. You've inspired me to be bored.
Well, one thing I do actually like about the game, just to not shit all over it, is it establishes that their personas are tied to their weapons, or their version of personas are tied to the weapons they choose initially. So you can't actually change those weapons as you go through the game. What you do is you change your armor, and you have armor for your hands, your body, and your legs, and those change your attributes. So it has a story reason to actually keep you with the same weapon, and thus the same kind of mind or persona, or whatever you want to call it. I like that as a touch, but that's about the only thing I like about it.
All right, that sounds like something.
Yeah, you should check it out and be real bored and stop playing it after like 2 hours.
Yeah, of course. So speaking of Persona ripoffs, I've been playing Persona 3 Portable. No,
That's a good game. No,
it is really good. It's It's like they took Persona 3 and they just made it smaller though. So I don't know why they're letting them put this game out. Like it even has the same name mostly. I don't.
Yeah.
Is that allowed?
I think they might have a intellectual property claim on that. You know, it's.
I don't know. That sounds like something that someone could sue
does.
for. And Atlas better be careful.
They don't want to get sued by Atlas. You know?
That's true. But no, I've been playing that a bunch, and I've probably talked about it on other episodes. I can't remember. I can't remember how much I've talked about this, but I'll just update y'all. I think I'm about halfway done with the game. I just recruited Igus. So...
you're roughly halfway through.
All right.
Igus is a great character. I really like Igus.
Oh, most certainly.
I find the characters in that game aren't super great, but Igus I really like.
Yeah, like just from what I've done so far, like I know the big spoilers already. Like I pretty much know who dies and all that, so nothing surprising me there. But so far I like Igus and I like Yukari, and that's pretty much it.
Yukari's all right. I think Mitsuru kind of comes into her own later on, but I think she's definitely a better character in like Persona 4 Arena and things like that.
Exactly.
I think she's
played Arena. Yeah, playing Arena, I pretty much love all the Persona 3 characters, but this is just everyone feels really weak. Like their writing is a lot more weak compared to their writing in Arena, just because I don't know. It's not like they're boiled down to like their personality, like the boring personality stuff like you would see in Q or anything, but I just feel like they elaborate more on how these characters work together and their relationships in Arena and Ultimax.
Yeah, they do.
And in this game, it just kind of feels like they're in a house together, but that's kind of it.
Yeah, they don't feel like a group of that. They don't feel like they're as tightly knit as a group as the Persona 4 characters do in a weird way. You know, they feel like they're just sort of all there and they happen to do the same thing. They happen to live together.
Like the thing with the Persona 4 characters is that when you go to rescue someone, you learn about that. Like the entire group would learn about them. I feel like in Persona 3, I'm the only person who's getting to know anyone in that dorm, and then everyone else is just like, "Oh, we're back from Tartarus. We're gonna go back in our rooms and sleep." Oh, we're back from school. I'm gonna go in my room and lock the door. I feel like nobody likes each other.
Yeah, they don't feel like they're friends. They feel like they're together out of circumstance rather than anything else.
And I think that is kind of part of the story. But at the same time, it feels weird that I'm able to be friends with them.
Yeah.
If everyone's gonna be all like I don't want to deal with each other. Like me being this one person who's able to unite them, it feels weird. In Persona 4, it felt more organic having Yu Narukami like having this group of friends and like he is the link that attaches everyone together, but it felt organic because everyone still liked each other.
Exactly.
Like Junpei is just the pervy sidekick guy. Akihiko is just I need to train. Mitsuru is just like I'm not going to tell anyone about anything. Like I don't know. Like I've been doing social links. Like all the social links that I've been doing are for like Persona reasons, and then in Persona 4, I was just like, I want to learn more about this character. I didn't feel like it was I'm thinking about Persona 3 more in terms of battle and in getting through the storyline, and then in Persona 4 it was more like I want to learn about this character, I want to see what happens, I want to see how this story ends.
Yeah, in Persona 4 you want to spend time with those characters a lot more than you do in Persona 3.
But yeah, like I do end up wanting to hang out with like Yukari though, because honestly, like I just kind of feel for Yukari's story. Like I as someone who has lost a father and has a kind of a weird relationship with my mom, I really feel for Yukari. And like that's probably why I'm kind of drawn to her as a character. But everyone else just doesn't really like. Even if I didn't have that that backstory for myself, I still feel like I would be more interested in Yukari's story than anyone else's, because everyone else's just kind of feels like a bit more.
Yeah, they just aren't interesting as a whole. Like, their stories are not particularly engaging or well written, and especially like the characters outside of your party, like Chihiro or Kenji or whoever. They're not interesting characters to spend time with.
Well, I'm playing as the girl
Okay.
in this one, and her social links, like her exclusive social links, are about on par to the Persona 4 social links. They're way better than the other social links in the game. Like, one of the ones that I'm doing is with a volleyball team, and it was really interesting because it was you were with the captain of the volleyball team, and her thing is she like drives herself away from the other girls in the volleyball team because she's like really she's very like openly anti-relationship, and it's really just her like pushing everyone away because she doesn't want them to bug her about having a crush on her childhood friend. And she eventually like opens up, and it's like the volleyball team kind of like groups together because they don't want to push her into being in a relationship. They just want to help her out with the one that she wants, and it's written way better than I expected.
Yeah, like when I played through that game, I was like I didn't want to ever do the social links. It was, okay, I can go to Tartarus now, I can level up, and I'll just level up these stats to, to get the start of the social link with Yukari and with Fuka and with Mitsuru so that I can power up my personas with those. But, that was the only reason I was doing it, was better personas.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's upsetting when, like, that's such a big
draw. Whereas in 4, it's like, oh, I want to see more of Kanji's story, or I want to see more of Naoto's or Chie's. It's
right.
It's completely different.
So that's why I'm interested to see. Let's because see that was really the only game that I played lately. So let's transition by saying I'm interested to see how Persona 5 will be doing social links.
Yeah, Persona 5.
Yeah, let's go on to news, Niall. Tell us about Persona 5. You wrote up the article on videogamechoochoo.com. All those hot deets. Share it with us.
Yeah, so Famitsu this week, they dropped a bomb of knowledge about Persona 5. So what we know at the moment is, as usual, the protagonist is going to be a second-year high school student. He's going to be transferring into a new school. Your character is going to be staying at a coffee shop that's owned by friends of his family, which, that's why everyone was saying, oh, that looks a lot like the setting from Catherine. It's a coffee shop. It's going to be set in Shibuya in Tokyo. Well, it's going to be set across Tokyo, but it's going to start in Shibuya. So you're not going to have Inaba, you're not going to have Tatsumi Port Island. It's going to be a real city like other Shin Megami Tensei games, like Devil Survivor is set in Shibuya, and I think a few others are too. Social links will be in the game. There isn't too much known about them yet, but it does sound like there's going to be some new elements to the social links, so I'm curious to see how those play out.
I could see something like, instead of just powering up your persona, maybe having high social links will help you in heists, because it's like, oh yeah, I have this person on my team and I'm good friends with them, so we work together better. I can see something like that.
Yeah, that would be cool. And like they said that the dungeons won't be completely randomized anymore. There is going to be stuff that's going to be hard-coded into the dungeons. So, that's assumed to tie into the plot or to tie into certain things that you need to do in this dungeon or this dungeon, so...
Yeah, I would hope so. If they're going to be... If the games are going to have specific heists, they would want to allow you to memorize the area and figure out the best way to get through it.
Yeah.
So if you step out of the dungeon, you can get back in and not lose progress.
Yeah. I would hope so. We
Hmm.
know that the protagonist's persona is going to be named Arsène, after Arsène Lupin, the fictional thief. Um, what else? And there seems to be like a lot of stuff playing into a possible tie to mental illness or something like that, because there was that shot in the trailer that showed him imprisoned, which is intended to act as a metaphor for like a prison of the mind, and also the persona summoning sound is using the onomatopoeia buchi, which is usually used to symbolize a snap, mental or physical, which kind of ties into the end of the trailer where it shows the protagonist being engulfed by the flames of his own persona. So that seems to be a possible thing that they're hinting at with that, which would be pretty interesting, I think.
I could see. I could see that. They were also talking about how the theme of the game would be about fighting against like trying to step out of conformity
Mm-hmm.
and feeling like you have to do different things in order to
Yeah.
succeed in life, which would be pretty interesting. I would definitely want to see a story like that from the Persona
Yeah,
people.
I'm really curious to see where it's going to go, and really looking forward to hearing some more about it. Hopefully, it won't be too much longer. They're going to be doing another of their big Persona concerts in another month, I think. So that will probably tie into some more information coming out about it with any bit of luck.
That'd be cool. I'm hoping that game comes out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I have a feeling we won't see it here until around Christmas time.
Or maybe even next year.
Yeah,
Who knows?
it looks like it's more or less done, but at the rate they're releasing information and the fact that they still don't have a release date for Dancing All Night, at least over here, it seems to be set for the summer in Japan. If Dancing All Night isn't coming out until the summer in Japan, then Persona 5 probably won't come out until maybe September, October over there.
Yeah, we'll see. Because I mean, they might want to get some of that Dancing All Night money in to do some cleanup
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Persona
they might.
5. So
And I can't see them doing a worldwide release for Persona 5 either, so I think we could be
yeah,
waiting a
there's no
while.
way. All right, well, as long as it's
Yeah.
good. So let me get down to the rest of the news. I'll take control. Step aside, Niall. You are no longer in control. This is my town.
By all means.
Alright, first up, Atari announced something really dumb. Really dumb. They're rebooting Asteroids, and it's gonna be a sandbox shooter. I don't really understand what's going on.
No, that's a really weird move on their part. That seems like we got this sandbox shooter. How can we tie it into something? Let's just name it Asteroids. That's a thing.
We got
That's a thing we
Asteroids,
still
sure.
own. People know that name.
Yeah. I can't wait for the Galaga game that's just No Man's Sky,
Yeah.
but with the Galaga.
Yeah, we're gonna get a lot of those.
Actually, no, I'm completely down with
Yeah.
that. Someone call me up. I got ideas.
Yeah, to rip off No Man's Sky. I'm
Yeah, just
sure
rip off No Man's
there'll
Sky.
be 100 of those on Steam Greenlight by within a month or two of No Man's Sky coming out.
No, exactly. Like, this game is a sandbox survival game, and it has mining and crafting, so... wah. You get what I mean. It's gonna have asteroids in it. It's called Asteroid. Go in the asteroid belt to get a new belt. Uh-huh. Yeah. Bethesda announced that they are going to be having their own E3 press conference.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
That's a big deal. I guess they're gonna take over Nintendo's slot.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of interesting. But Bethesda seems to have enough stuff to fill up a press conference. The things that they are probably going to be discussing are the new Doom, which is Doom 4, Battle Cry, There's some talk of a Dishonored 2.
Oh, that would be awesome. I loved Dishonored 1. I thought it was a really cool game.
Yeah. And I mean, there's still that very slight chance that maybe something could come back for Prey 2.
I don't think so. I think we've seen.
I
the last
doubt
of Prey
it,
2.
but yeah. They could talk about Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah, they're moving that to free to play, aren't they? So
yeah, so they'll want to talk about that.
They'll want to
likely
talk about how they're gonna keep that thing afloat for another couple of years.
Yeah. There is also talk of just something new from Machine Games, so maybe another Wolfenstein or maybe something completely new. We don't know. And of course, there is the big gun that everyone's expecting them to finally launch. It's Fallout 4.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too, but we'll see. It's sounding like it's not going to be a press-only event.
Okay.
It sounds like it's just going to be streamed on Twitch, and Bethesda wants to announce details in the future on how fans can show up in person. So we'll see how that works.
So they're that's an interesting thing, to actually have fans potentially coming and not just planting Bethesda employees around the audience to clap and cheer for everything.
That's just because they'll show Fallout 4
Yeah.
and the entire room is going to erupt. That's what's going to happen. It's
going to be a similar reaction to when Sony announced all that stuff with the PS4.
Exactly. Like, when I was at E3, it was just play clapping for everything. It was like, I mean, there were people that were excited about stuff. I was excited about stuff. Like, there was a couple of, woo, yeah, but, like, it's not bad to be excited about something, but it's not bad to, like, express yourself and be like, yeah, that's cool, like, woo. But, like, planting employees around a hoot and holler constantly, like, all right.
That's a little much.
Chill out. Yeah. All right. And maybe bad news. We don't really know, but how could we know? Because BioWare announced that they have canceled their 4v1 co-op game, Shadow Realms. We don't know much about the game. I think Mike played it at a PAX or something and said that it was just okay.
Yeah, it sounded like play tests that they had people do weren't going down super well, and I guess now they're with that kind of game getting more popular, like Evolve is due out any day now. Evolve is out,
and people like it. So
at this point, that game would have had to be something really special, and if it's not going to be something really special, that's just on cost. I guess.
So, it's not like BioWare's shutting down. It's not like BioWare's doing anything, like, super bad. It just seems like that they're shifting focus. They still have to do, I guess, DLC and other patches and stuff for Dragon Age Inquisition. They're going to do some expansions for Star Wars The Old Republic, because, I mean, there's a Star Wars movie coming out really soon, so they're going to want to do some stuff with that. And they still have the new Mass Effect, and supposedly they have another IP up their sleeves that they're working on. Something brand spanking new. Yeah. So, we'll see what's going on with BioWare. I'm excited to see what they're doing, but yeah, Shadow Realms is a goner. Alright, so we have a bunch of Nintendo news.
Yeah, loads. It's a shame Kay isn't here this week, because she could talk her ears off about this.
Oh, yeah. First up, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D, the new 3DS version, is coming out April 10th. So I'm going to have to get a new 3DS by April 10th then. That's the first exclusive on the new 3DS. And it looks pretty sharp. I haven't played the original Xenoblade Chronicles.
No, but it looks pretty good.
Everyone in the world says it's incredible.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat. I've been looking at this as well as a potential way to jump on board, but I don't know if I'm going to have a new 3DS before it comes out. I think I'll eventually get around to playing it, but probably not immediately. The bad news part of it, though, is that there will be art and music locked behind tokens, and it's unknown if you can.
Oh, you can earn tokens by street passing people who have the game, but you can also get tokens with the Shulk amiibo, and there is a 0% chance you will be able to get a Shulk amiibo for under $70. So, good luck, y'all. In other Nintendo news, this is a story broken by Unseen64, which is one of my favorite game websites. Unseen64 is so cool. They dig up stuff about canceled games, and they'll also bring up stuff that was in betas or alphas. And it's just a really neat site for video game. What's the word I'm trying to think of? Preservation. Video game preservation. It's really neat for video game preservation.
And they're paying us for that plug, so...
I wish. But, no, it's interesting because Nintendo wanted to buy the rights to Harry Potter. Yeah, in 1999, right when Harry Potter first hit and was starting to get big, Nintendo wanted to buy the rights. Like, not just the video game rights, the entire rights to Harry Potter. So, there would have been no Harry Potter movies. It would have just been video games. And they would have been on N64, GBA, and GameCube and all that. So, on Unseen64, you can check out on Unseen64, they have, like, concept art for these games. And they were planning on doing a third-person action game, a Quidditch game, all of these things that eventually did come to pass and weren't especially great, but Nintendo would have made these games.
I bet a Nintendo Quidditch game would have been really, really good. Or really, a Nintendo game of any of the Harry Potter series, because none of those games were particularly enjoyable from what I played of them.
Exactly, so...
It would have been cool.
It would have honestly...
And you could have had Harry Potter in Smash.
Yeah, that would have been something. Wow, imagine that. There is an alternate universe where Harry Potter is in fucking Smash Bros. And it's not because of some third-party loop thing. It is first-party Harry Potter. That is wild. That's really wild. The last bit of news, unless you have anything to add on the Harry Potter.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Last bit of news is pretty big news. Supposedly Nintendo and Netflix are in talks to make a Zelda live-action TV show.
Yeah, they are.
Right now the talks are very early.
Mm-hmm.
There's no writers or actors involved. But the person who reported it to the Wall Street Journal said that Netflix is thinking about making it Game of Thrones for families.
Right. Which, I think that might be a cool idea. I just don't know that Zelda is the property to adapt into Game of Thrones for families. I don't know how you could really... I think you could adapt it for a season or two, but I don't think you could get something the length of Game of Thrones out of it. Unless you were to go through various timelines and, reboot it a couple of times with new links and new Zeldas, but yeah, I think there could be better options for Netflix if they want to try and go down that route, but I'm excited to see what comes of it, if anything. At the very least, it can't be anywhere as bad as those old CDI games were.
I want there to be some new CDI game stuff. How about that? How about
the very same production house that did those games?
We need to hire the Russian production house that animated those games. We need to hire the same voice actors, or if you can't do that, hire John Machonsky. I can do all the voices.
Okay, yeah. Just hire you then.
Yeah, I mean, or just hire me. I can do all the art. Even
you could do the art.
I could do the art, I could do the animation, I can do the voices, I could do the writing. I know how to write that caliber of just that tapestry of words that they had woven in gee, it sure is boring around here. That in that particular line, you can hear the anguish in Link's voice from just the lack of adventure, which is which is just talking about how we just ask so much from our heroes. They never get a day off, and then when Link does have that day off, it is the most strange thing in the world. But thankfully, adventure comes knocking on the door when Guanum appears on his flying carpet and says, "Your Majesty, Ganon and his minions have seized the island of Korodai." So, as you can see, though, that is the
I think you've got
That's
this
a
down, John. I think we should start working on this. You get this first episode done by next week. We'll say it'll be up on the site. Unauthorized John Machansky Zelda series coming soon to Chooch.
Of course. And then Netflix will have no choice but to pick it up because it will be of so high quality that Netflix and Nintendo will just be like, you know what?
This is the one. This is the series.
Why would we put any kind of effort, put any kind of money into something when this guy just has it already? There's no reason. So, yeah, but thanks a lot for listening, everyone, to my bullshit. You said you wanted to do questions. We got some questions.
Yeah, we got a couple of questions. We have some from last week that were left over as well. So I'll go through those. A lot of these questions are from the same person, so I'll just ask one or two of his questions. And there was one as well from somebody who was very clear to us that it wasn't this person, but we all know. So let's start.
This is mysterious.
A mysterious anon who isn't actually that mysterious. But before we get to those, the first question we have comes from Tumblr user Podtoid. For those of you who don't know, that's Mike Cosimano. And he asks, John Machansky, what is the best part of Mike Cosimano?
The best part of Mike Cosimano is Folgers in your cup.
That it? Okay. Okay, so... And of course, I forgot to mention, if you want to ask us questions, you can go to videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com and leave us questions there.
Yeah, you're more on the... See, I wasn't even on the ball this week. You got this, Niall. You're better at this than I am. I think eventually I'm just going to have to... This is gonna have to be the Niall show, and Video Game Choochoo's gonna be done.
See, the problem with that is I already have to put in all the work into editing it and all that. That's a lot of pressure to put on my shoulders.
Well, you won't have to edit anything because you could just record yourself talking.
Yeah, that's true.
If you do anything wrong, you could just take a rolled up piece of newspaper and hit yourself in the leg and just be like, "Don't do that. Stop."
Okay, so let's move to a question from Tumblr user and Inbox Champ.
Inbox
the Masked Negro. Of course, he won't hear this because he's threatened, or he's not threatened. He is boycotting us for not answering these questions last week. But he asks if you could take one exclusive game from a company and have another company do it, which game would you pick? And which company would you choose? For example, take Pokemon away from Nintendo and let From Software do it.
That's something. That's a good question. I can't really think of anything off the top of my... I mean, I would say Nintendo takes Mega Man. That's a pretty easy answer. I mean, I could also say just I would want this I would want Arc System to do a fighting game for something like the Danganronpa fighting game I want so bad. Say stuff like that.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I guess those are just my answers.
I'd like to see Atlas take over Final Fantasy because I think Final Fantasy sucked for the past 10 years, maybe longer.
That's interesting. Atlas doing that too.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
All right.
I think that'd be pretty good. Tumblr user Miles Cox asks, I'm not sure if you guys did this one last week or not. I think you might have, or maybe it was on the Scrapped episode.
You think it was on the Scrapped episode?
You have $1 million to spend on one breakfast. What is your breakfast of choice?
Do we just get okay? I would need to know if we are handed the $1 million, or if it's just like you have $1 million to spend. Just choose your breakfast, and the rest of the money is just gonna.
Let's assume you have you have a budget.
Okay, it's a budget. I don't know. I mean, because honestly, I would just want like I like very standard breakfasts. Like I would just be like, just give me some nice pancakes, some nice eggs, some bacon, some syrup. I'm not gonna be like, go get me an ostrich egg, make me sausage from the rare bagool beast. Like I'm not gonna ask that. I would just say get me a nice big standard breakfast and donate the rest of the money to charity or something. Like that's really all I could think of. I can't. I'm not super crazy about anything.
Yeah, I'm not sure I could spend $1 million on one breakfast, but I think if I could have any breakfast, I would probably, because you can't get them where I live currently, which is in Canada, but back home in Ireland you get a thing called a breakfast roll, which is like a baguette filled with sausage and ham and bacon and egg and everything you would have in a breakfast in a baguette, and it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, sounds fantastic.
And
wow,
I would really love to have one of those again, but you can't get them anywhere else. So
I would think the closest thing to that in North America would probably just be like a Hot Pocket.
Yeah, but this is like a full-size baguette full of sausage and bacon and eggs.
Yeah,
and
legit
meat and eggs and beans and everything you could want. If you have it as part of your breakfast, it's in there. And I would want that, I think. Because it's been a long time and I miss it,
I feel that.
I guess just one more question, maybe two.
If you want, whatever you want to do. Yeah, we actually just got into
Oh, did we? Let me just
have
a look at that.
I mean, this isn't an answer. I don't think this is something that we have to answer specifically because, God, we just talked about it.
Let's see. Let's see what it is. How hyped is the Chooch staff for Persona 5? That's come from Tumblr user Bloody Pinata.
Have you listened to us? Do you know who we
have
are?
Have you been listening for the last how long? Hour? You kind of know already. I don't.
I mean, at least us two. I think Lauren's pretty excited.
Yeah.
And then I don't know about the rest
I think
of the
Michael
cast, though.
seems to be pretty excited about it too. I think Rocky was more excited about being King Frost than anything else.
Yeah, I just got King Frost in Persona 3 Portable, and I was just like, hell yeah, I'm repping.
So you have him and Mothman and Unicorn.
I'm gonna get Mothman once I level up enough. Yeah,
the entire Chooch Persona group. Which
we should talk.
We should.
About
If you don't follow John on Tumblr, we kind of had a conversation on Skype a few days ago where we decided to assign personas to ourselves, and we came out with a list of personas and of weapons, right? Let me see if I have the list here. Okay. So John got Mothman, and which I felt Mothman suited you pretty well.
Yeah, I'm a little insect that everyone hates.
No, it's because Mothman is so nice. He's so polite and he's so nice to everyone. Yeah. I was given Lan and Shi. Lauren got Unicorn. Kay got Titania. Rocky got King Frost. And Michael got Matador. And we assigned Mike Cosimano to be the Igor stand-in. And Will Westwater was it Elizabeth or Margaret or Theo, whatever you want to.
Yeah, I want to somehow get Will Westwater to cosplay Theo, just straight up. He would do really well.
Yeah,
he would do it.
Bleach his hair, and there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just.
But yeah, our Persona AU,
Yeah.
I think we should commission someone to do that eventually. I'll once we get some money rolling in, I'll pay for someone to
That could be our new
do
site art.
that. Yeah, that'd be cool as hell.
You know, we all got personas that fit our personalities, I think.
Exactly.
And I'm pretty happy because you guys would all be doing the fighting, and I could just hang out a couple of miles away, just making sure no one dies because mine doesn't have any
basically,
attacks.
We also like assigned weaponry too. Yeah. Mine's pretty funny because I was just like, I'm just gonna have cheap cosplay swords that you'd buy at a convention. But then my final weapon would be I actually get a beam katana, and I'd be like, yeah.
I think I had a bow and arrow, which again, long range.
So you could just hang back and not get fucked up. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You're gonna as soon as we all get wiped out, you're gonna book it.
Well, no,
you?
Because like I can bring you all back to life with full health. That's what my persona.
Yeah.
Can
Okay.
do, you know?
Yeah, you're gonna use your SP on us.
I have nothing else to use it on. You know?
All right. I hope so.
So one last question, I think, and then maybe we'll get out of here because we don't have a lot of questions left from last week. So this is from Anonymous, wink wink, who says, these questions are totally not from Inbox Champ the Masked Negro, because the Masked Negro is boycotting the Chooch since his questions were skipped last week because he did not appease Kay. But if he was to ask questions, he would ask how you would restructure the early access system on Steam to fucking work more accurately. Also, he mentioned this earlier on the maskednegro.net, there's a plug.
Which is his website.
Yeah. But if he were asking, he would want to know two things you all would like to see from a Disney and Nintendo partnership. And remember, this is not the Masked Negro because he's boycotting this podcast. So he
Thank you for sending this in, random stranger who is totally not our masked friend. And also, by the way, dude's got a really sick new mask.
Does.
You should check it out on looks at the camera, themaskednegro.net, which is his website.
It's a pretty cool mask.
Yeah, he got a really neat new mask. It's like it's a luchador mask. Yeah, it's super cool. But okay, so yeah, first question: how we would fix early access? Yeah. I think it's pretty easy to answer. Just actually make it a legitimate system, and I think to fix early access, I think you also have to fix Greenlight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Greenlight is a complete travesty. It is just people throwing things onto the site without any kind of like backing to their claim that they're making a game. People just have a bullshit Kickstarter up, and they'll be like, "That's enough to make a page on here."
There certainly needs to be more vetting of what can actually be put on Greenlight in the first place, and early access for that matter. Because you see so many things go up on there that are, we got our Kickstarter, and then you look at the Kickstarter, and it's you can tell these people have never made a game. They will never make a game. It's a very half-baked idea for a game at best, and
right. And just overall, I think early access games shouldn't be, we have an alpha, we want money. It should be, hey, we have something that has a great structure and people can actually have fun playing it. Because I think asking people for money for something that's barely playable, just so you can finish it, is kind of bullshit. But I can also kind of understand where people are coming from, where they're like, I don't know, we don't have enough money to finish this. There needs to be a middle ground between not screwing over your customers and asking them to just pay for what it is without doing a Kickstarter thing. Like Kickstarter at the very least is this upfront, we need money to finish this. I think early access is kind of a lie by being like, hey, here's a game for you to play. It's not 100% finished, but give us some money for it.
There's serious clipping issues, and there's no sound, and you can only do this one thing, but you can play it, sort of, technically.
Yes, something like Broforce or Gang Beasts, stuff like that being early access. That's not anything that's gonna harm the consumer. But
I remember when Snow first hit early access, I was super, skeptical about it because these guys didn't really have any capital investment, and they were like, "Oh, we want to do all this stuff," but right now all you can sort of do is just ski down this mountain very, very basically. There's no sound, there's no nothing, but seeing how that's come, that is a case of where something is actually working out on early access, but there's so much stuff that just gets abandoned, or they release an alpha, they make some money, and that's the last you ever hear of it. I think there needs to be some way for the consumer to have a little more protection when it comes to that kind of thing.
I think the problem is that Steam is so hands-off. And if Steam had some sort of thing where they were like, hey, you need to sign a contract that this game is going to be finished, then I think the problem would be fixed. And I think the problems with Greenlight would probably be fixed if there was some kind of, contract. Mm-hmm. If there wasn't like infighting between Steam trying to figure out, is this game worth being put up on here, or is it such a steaming pile of shit that we should take it down? And there's no agreement with that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's certain rules about what can and can't go up that need to be revised as well. And
Absolutely.
There was that game, I forget what it was called, but it was essentially just it was a really, really crappy looking GTA knockoff that had a lot of like explicit gore and sex in it. That somehow got greenlit a few months back. And then the publisher or the developer of that somehow managed to get more and more stuff up there, and I think that stuff that's so very obviously not what should be going up there needs to be more. It needs to be checked out better. It needs to be vetted. Somebody at Valve has to be doing more work on that.
Yeah, and if Valve is going to let that kind of stuff up on there, they need to let us be able to purchase Aerogay too. I don't know why you're going to be so discriminatory.
Yeah, there seems to be a lot of Aerogay going up that's being censored, and then developers are saying, well, here's this patch, install this separately and put it in this folder, and then you have...
Yeah, no joke, yeah, they should be watching, if they're going to be like, hey, we don't want straight up sex on Steam, they need to not let games on their thing that are very easily patchable to be filled with nudity. They need to actually communicate with developers.
Yeah, or even if they want to allow that stuff up, have some sort of setting whereby somebody can set their account to show them that stuff.
Exactly. Either go the full Monty or don't. Like, if you're gonna allow that stuff onto your service, don't have to make people be sneaky about it. Just if you're gonna put friggin' porn games on there, put porn games on there.
It can be as simple as having a little box in your profile check to show these kind of games.
Exactly, and it's dumb that they're just being so hands off. They wrote these rules that they thought were gonna work, and it's been proven that it won't work, but they're still just they're leaving it be, just because. Yeah. It's because they don't want to fix anything.
Yeah, it needs work.
So, and then the second question that this mysterious, non-masked stranger asked us.
He wants to know 2 things you'd like to see from a Disney and Nintendo partnership.
Now, see, this was because I realized something based on the latest news on Marvel getting some of the rights to Spider-Man back and all that. I started thinking about how Marvel has improved after Disney bought them out, with representation-wise and just in general, their movies are still really good. And then I also thought about Star Wars and how that improved when Disney bought them. So I just kind of started thinking, a lot of people keep saying that Disney should buy Nintendo, and it's never going to happen. But just to entertain the idea, it would be really cool. Because I just thought if Nintendo didn't have to worry about appeasing their investors and just was able to take risks, because that's the big problem with Nintendo these days, is that they make things for their investors and not for the people that they're selling to a lot. So I was just thinking, what big, crazy fan things would happen if Nintendo got bought out by Disney? And I was just thinking, they would probably actually make that Captain Falcon platform.
Yeah, I think
game.
They would.
They would totally do that.
Awesome. You could finally have the entire stable of Marvel characters in Smash. Smash versus Marvel. How cool would that be?
Yeah, and like fucking Mickey Mouse in Smash Bros. Luke Skywalker
Donald
in Smash
Duck.
Bros. Like, that would just be insane, but
Yeah.
awesome.
It's a shame that there is never going to be any chance of that happening. If Nintendo ever get to the point where they have to be bought out, it won't be by an American company. It'll
Absolutely.
be by a Japanese company. They'll wind up like Sega or something. But I don't see that happening anytime soon either.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like, they have a shit ton of money.
Yeah, the Wii really saved them. It was looking kind of sketchy for a while there, but once they came out with the Wii, they're gold.
Exactly.
They're gold for a long time.
Yeah. So 2 more things that, one from me and one from you, for something that is just a dream. Just if Nintendo had infinite money and total freedom, what would you want them to do?
If they had infinite money and total freedom, I would love to see another F-Zero game, which they seem to be holding off on because they don't think it's financially viable. And if they had infinite, I
think what Miyamoto,
money,
what Miyamoto actually said about F-Zero was just that he didn't think the Wii U gamepad was good
that's
for
an
F-Zero
excuse.
game.
That's a poor excuse because they put everything possible on the Wii, and the Wii's control scheme was not suitable for a lot of things.
Sure.
I really want to see another F-Zero. Mm-hmm. I have to believe it's something with them where they're like, this isn't quite the money spinner, but it has a rabid fan base, but it's not really viable. But I want to see it happen.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I think my choice would just be some goddamn more Smash DLC. If they could just give Sakurai robot wrists so he would never have to worry about his arms falling off, he could just make Smash Bros. DLC forever. Please do this for me, Disney. Cure my son. Cure Sakurai.
Give him robotic hands.
Thank you. Yes, please. So he can. He won't even have to control them. Just like have
just
him
automated.
Automated Smash Bros. DLC creation. This is the new era. This is the new age.
This is our cyberpunk future.
Yeah, just infinite Smash Bros. DLC. That is the cyberpunk future. But yeah, so thank you so much, Niall, for being on the show this week and for carrying it.
Thank you for having me.
That was much less of a disaster than I thought it was going to be. It was actually not really a disaster at all. So it did. Let me think if there's any site announcements. Michael is working on a big editorial right now that I hope everyone's going to be excited to read.
It's looking real good so far.
It's looking good so far, but I want more. I want him to make this the best goddamn editorial he's ever written, and then in the future, he'll one-up it every time.
Him.
Yeah,
nothing he writes can be published unless it tops his last thing.
That'll just happen organically. I won't have to push anyone too hard. Like everyone I brought on, bunch of talented folks except for you. No,
I'm hurt.
No. Everyone on here are talented as shit. I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm happy to have you all on. Hopefully Rocky gets his shit fixed by next week because I still want him to be on. We're still not going to announce anything about our weird podcast that we're planning.
We've got some stuff coming up.
It's being planned. It's going to be a goddamn show.
It's going to be fun.
You know what we should do? I have a friend who streams that kind of stuff on Twitch. Okay. Maybe we could figure out a way to stream it over Twitch.
I've been, like I said to you, I've been looking into some things and I may have found a way that we could do that. So,
all right, we can figure that out. But yeah, if you have any questions, just send them into the Chooch Tumblr, videogamechoochoo.tumblr.com/ask. Check the site. We've been posting new content pretty much every day now.
A lot of news. Lauren did a review of Neptunia, the PC port, which she talked a little bit about that last week, but an actual review is going on.
Yeah, her review is way better than like, not to shit on what Lauren was doing, but like her review last week was good when we were going over it. This week 5 times better. Like we are doing some great editorial work together. We are being the Chooch family that I've always wanted.
We've got another review she's doing going up pretty soon, I think, or it's in progress.
Yeah. Hope everyone's looking forward to that. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm excited that we're getting worst game of the year out of the way. I'll tell you that much.
It's nice to be able to get rid of it in the first couple of weeks of February. We can only go
look forward to that. Look forward to that. For Niall Black, I am John Machonsky, and we are done for this week. Namaste.